Hi, Chris. Thank you for coming in today. I hope you were able to find the office okay.
Yeah, I actually got lost a little bit, but I found it in a bit, so thanks for
Oh,
asking.
no. I'm sorry. Well, I'm glad you're here. So, my name is Victoria, and I'm a social worker here. And so, for today's first session, it's going to be about 20 minutes, and I'm just gonna ask you some questions, find out why you came in here today, and maybe get some goals. Um, so, with that being said, what brings you in today?
Um, I just needed like some person to talk to, cause I don't feel great these days, and like I feel frustrated and all that kind of thing. I just wanted to find someone to talk to.
You feel frustrated?
Mm.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I think one of the main reasons why I'm super frustrated these days is because I recently got relief from a job and I'm under a lot of economic stress right now, and I am receiving unemployment right now, but it is a limited resource and I don't have a lot of savings, and I'm just worried that I might just not end up getting a job and moving out on the streets because I won't be able to feed off myself.
So you're worried right now about having income and being able to provide the necessities that you need in your life. Um, how has being unemployed affected your everyday life?
Um, as of right now, it's not affecting me so much because I still have unemployment check coming in, but not gonna lie, it is like it's really limited and it's going to run out very soon, and not sure like as of right, I'm trying to save as much as possible and all that. So I'm like cutting my meals, or trying to like I haven't eaten out since after I got fired from my job, and obviously I'm like not gonna spend extra money on like all these extra things that I can't afford for now, which I don't like monetarily I can afford it, but I don't feel like I can afford it right now because like watching movies or like or I don't know, like all these like something that's not essential, like related to my living essential, like I don't feel like I deserve it or like I can't afford it.
Okay. So you've cut back on some of the things that you used to enjoy because you feel like you don't deserve it. Is that correct?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Okay. Um, so tell me more about the job you had.
So I went to school for programming and I always wanted to work in the game industry because I love playing games, video games. Um, so so after getting my degree, for the past 5 years, I worked in a gaming company, and and um and and you know how like this COVID affected a lot of people starting from last year, and uh, like I heard that some of the game industries actually benefited from COVID because people are forced to stay home, and all they do is just extra time they play games, and all these developers are working and stuff, and more demand goes up. But it didn't apply to my company. In my situation, we actually ended up having to cut down on some employees, and I was one of the first employees to get fired and or well get relieved.
Okay. And how did you handle the news when you were laid off?
I mean, what can I do? They said they have to cut down on people, and I mean, obviously, I'm not happy, and I didn't feel like I was the most. I didn't feel like I deserved to get fired because I worked hard. I dedicated my life. I mean, like not my life, part of my life, my time on it, my labor on it, and also I didn't think that I was the worst worker to get relieved first, but which makes me think, is it because I'm a woman in the industry, or not really sure about that, but
So what gives you the impression that perhaps you were laid off because you were a woman?
It's just I can't be sure about it because no one ever, like, even if I were to get fired because I was a woman, it's not gonna be like blatantly told in my face that I got fired because, like, you're getting fired because you're a woman. It's just the type of, like, the programming industry is mainly composed of males, and a lot of times a lot of times when I got into a lot of the environment, like programming industry or like gaming industry, like I would get in and it just feels like I have to prove to my peers, like, and it's just, and like it's just like an extra step because you're a female in the industry, and people aren't just gonna have this stereotype on you that because you're a female you're not gonna be good at programming compared to the other male coworkers in the industry. So I think I had to fight a little bit of stigma in like beginning of the days, and my boss was a little traditional, I guess. So it's just my feeling.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like you're concerned about maybe being treated differently or being fired because you're a woman. And have you seen that take place in other aspects of your life?
I'm not really sure about that, but the big part that I noticed was my college major or my work, because like you obviously have different gender ratio in the industry, like, but other than, well, I mean, like time to time you would feel like little like oppression because you're female, but other than like the main places that I felt was my job, and honestly that's what I care about the most because I need to get paid too.
Yeah, and it sounds like, I mean, you sound like you really are passionate about, working in the gaming industry, and, you have a degree, which all of that is something that you really have a strength in. It's something really positive that you have going for you. But so how have you managed to, what's been the greatest asset for you during this time?
Can you clarify on the asset?
Like, so after you got employed, what was most helpful for you going through that?
Oh, honestly, since I got laid off, it hasn't been the worst time ever because the job that I used to work at, it's super overworked. A lot of people look up to it. Like, well, not, I don't think a lot of people look up to it. People who like programming and people who enjoy games, they get into the industry thinking that they could enjoy their work because this is part of their hobby. But the fact is, a lot of people get overworked due to, like, I don't know, people are just overworked, a lot of overtasking and stuff. So I didn't have a lot of free time for myself. But after I got laid off, honestly, like, I have more time for me to just spend more time for myself, practicing self-care, self-love, and I don't know, more of the reflection kind of time. So it is depressing. I am having like a little bit of like sleep problems, and like for being stressed out and feeling like a little blue time to time, but also at the same time, like, investing time for myself and doing like all these self-care stuff, like it's been actually like helping me out.
It sounds like you've used this time for exploration of yourself, but at the same time, you've also been having some negative impacts from being unemployed.
Yeah, I can definitely like agree with that because even though I'm enjoying the time that I'm having off right now, I know that I'm running on a limited resource that's just gonna run out in time. And honestly, I'm not even sure like me getting fired actually did a favor for me or not, because I mean, like, right now I'm in, like today I'm enjoying my time for being off and like watching some movies or reading some books or something, or like listening to music. But but if I don't get my job anytime soon, I could get I could get kicked out of my house. I won't be able to eat, so just conflicting.
You sound very concerned about that. Tell me more about your sleep issues and the frequency and what that looks like.
So when I get stressed, I just can't go to sleep. So it's just been really hard for me to go get to sleep. And sometimes I would lay down in my bed, and it's just I just can't fall asleep. And a lot of times, so I just end up spending time on my phone until I fall asleep. That's 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning sometimes. And even if I fall asleep, the quality of sleep is pretty bad too. I actually end up having a lot of nightmares, and which so that's which made me think, oh wow, does this indicate that I might have some problem? And I thought it would be a nice idea to come in and talk to you today.
Okay. What else do you hope to get out of coming this session with?
I think mainly I just want to talk it out because not a lot of people understand the type of situation that I'm in right now, because people are well, if you're fired, then you should be looking for a job right now, and be independent and just be fully functioning adult yourself. But also I feel like this is a time that I needed for myself, but also I'm still stressed out about it, and I don't think people understand that I could be relaxing and stressed out at the same time. And I don't know, I kind of wish I could just align myself to finding out what I really want in my life, or not just my life. Life is pretty broad statement, but maybe even just at this moment kind of thing.
So it sounds like something you want to get out of therapy is really just having a place to kind of work through what you want to do in life and kind of just explore that realm. How does the rest of your day look currently?
So it depends on the day. I try to alternate my days. I wake up in the morning, or it depends on how when I fall asleep, I could wake up in the afternoons or something. But when I wake up, if it's a day for me to look for a job, I usually try to look for a job and then put in resumes around, and I usually alternate my days. So if I put in a resume for that day, I would next day I would wake up and then I would watch movie or just forget about looking for a job and just kind of practice self-care or something.
Yeah. Okay. And the jobs that you're looking for, what do those look like?
So I still really like working in the gaming programming for the games and stuff, but so I'm still looking for that areas, but it hasn't been that successful, not gonna lie. So I'm not really sure if I should start moving on to other aspects of programming or anything like that. I'm not really sure.
Do you have any concerns about the job fields that you go into next?
I have a lot of concerns. I do. Mainly because this was the first and only job place that I had. So I'm concerned that I might not fit into the other places. And on top of it, I don't really have a lot of knowledge about looking for a new job, because I didn't really like my boss in my previous job, but we had pretty solid team in my previous job, and that's what made me stay in that place and work towards for it. But I feel because I dedicated so much to my previous job, now I'm paying the price for not knowing a lot of resources to kind of reach out for, yeah.
Okay. And tell me more about your boss.
I mean, boss is just boss. It's really, we didn't really like the boss because he was a little traditional, but also at the same. But he's the type of person who would say, "Oh, I'm a traditional person," but I don't really like that kind of statement because, like, when people will say things like, "Oh, I'm this like traditional person," they usually use that like I'm traditional person like status to work as a favor for themselves. So he would use these kind of status to like just kind of hush us a lot of times if even if a problem was brought up, and like if like suppose, and sometimes like we would bring up some ideas and pretty lucrative, and well, we thought it was pretty lucrative and he probably thought it too because he just took it, and without giving us credit, he would just report it up under his name as if he came up with it. And it was, at the time, it was like pretty harsh, but I think because me and my team had a pretty good bond, we were able to go through that kind of situation together, and just, yeah.
And it's important for you to be heard.
It is, because I think a lot of times communication works as a big factor for me.
Okay. And how was that with your coworkers?
It was actually pretty good. We initially didn't get along a lot because I'm a pretty quiet person, and my coworkers are pretty quiet people too. But it's kind of ironic because we're so overworked, we ended up spending a lot of time at work outside of the work. Not really. I'm trying to say we ended up spending a lot of time doing extra hours at the workplace, and I think that just kind of added up to more bonding sessions. So even outside of work, we started to hang out a lot, and I could kind of comfortably say that they're part of my friends group now.
Okay. And so how has your relationship been with them now?
Honestly, it's been a little harsh because I don't think my company hired a replacement for me, so they're basically splitting the workload that I used to do on top of what they were doing at the time. So they're even busier than what they used to be before, and even before, like, a lot of times we would bond during the work hours, and now that they're not even more available, I feel like I'm a little left out, not gonna lie. Like, if I see them like once a month or like twice a month, I think that's like quite a lot.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask you a magical question. If tomorrow you woke up and everything was fixed, what would your life look like, and how would it change?
I guess I'll be working in a company that really appreciates me, with the type of team that I used to work with, but also at the same time I'm able to practice self-care and just have enough time for me to like reflect on myself, and yeah, I think that would be perfect.
Okay. Well, it sounds like, these are some really good goals that we can work towards. Trying to work through what you want in life and what you want in your next career. Finding that good fit, as well as something that can provide you with self-care that you need. Unfortunately, our time is up for today. But if you think today went well, we can meet again next week and kind of delve more deeply into some of these problems and come up with some solutions. So would you be willing to do that?
Yeah. I feel like today's session was really helpful for me, so I would definitely want to come back again.
Awesome. Well, it was good to see you, and I'll see you next week then.
Okay, thanks for talking
Bye,
to me.
Chris.